nice to have you today, Professor Odebode. I'm very excited about today's conversation. If you would permit me, I'll just quickly do a brief of introduction, then going to relay my questions to you so you can empower us, enlightening us with your years of experience. So, everyone listening to us, I welcome you to the Lasgidi Farmer Podcast, where we bridge cutting-edge academic research with practical solutions to transform Nigerian agriculture. So today marks a remarkable maiden episode. I'm incredibly honored to be joined by one of Nigeria's foremost authorities in agricultural extension and rural development. Our inaugural guest is no other than Professor Stella Olusola Odebode, Professor of Agricultural Extension and Rural Development, and the current Head of Department of Agricultural Extension and Rural Development at the University of Ibadan. With over 4 decades of experience, Professor Odebode is a leading voice on gender analysis, women's empowerment in agriculture, rural livelihood, and transformative power of digital extension. So she has trained generation of extension workers, shaped gender policies at the University of Ibadan, also continues to champion inclusive, technological-driven approaches to farming. In this conversation, we explore women, tech, and digital extension, that is powering Nigerian agriculture, how digital tools are reshaping extension services, the critical role women play in Nigeria's agriculture future, and the practical pathways to make technology truly inclusive for rural women and youth. Professor Odebode, thank you so much for honoring us as our inaugural guest. It's a real privilege on the show today. So if you would give us a brief of introduction about you and your expectation for today's event, that would be really helpful, man.
Yeah, so I am Professor Stella Olusola Odebode. I'm a professor of agricultural extension and rural development. I am the current head of department of the led as the director of gender mainstreaming office of the University of Ibadan for 8 years. And so, but I am back in the department. We are involved with extension work. We've done a lot of work, even for the university. I was part of the team that wrote the gender mainstreaming policy and the sexual harassment policy. So I'm glad to meet with you today. And I'm here for you for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma, for that brief. That was really interesting. So I'll just move on to the first question of the day. Professor, you started your academic journey at the University of Ife in 1976 and rose to become Professor of Agricultural Extension in 2011. I would like to ask you that what initially drew you into the field of agricultural extension and rural development, especially with a strong focus on gender?
Yeah, thank you very much. The person that invited me, I am so excited to actually be here. In 1976, when I entered the university, before I got into the university, I've always had that passion to work with women and men. Especially in Africa, you see that a lot of women are just there, and they regard, in African culture, we regard women as a commodity in the house. And I think that many women have a lot of things to offer. You know, if you go to school, as a school teacher, I discovered that a lot of women or girls, very intelligent, they have a lot of initiative and all of that. And so because of that, I made sure that I encourage the girl child and even the boy child too. Because in Africa, we used to think that, in our culture, if you are a man, you have to be the head of the home. You have to provide for everything. You have to be, and then the woman in your house is like a commodity, you know. But I discovered that a lot of women are very, very, very intelligent up there. So I decided to go that route. Learn more about how women and men can be advised to work together and to contribute to the development of the country. So I finished my first degree in the University of Ife then, now Obafemi Awolowo University. And I got into the University of Ibadan, where I also did my master's and PhD. So I decided to narrow my scope to Working with the rural women, how do we impact them? How do we encourage them? Four elements of gender, like boy, girl, the adult man, the adult woman. Those are the four elements we have in the rural household. So they need to be educated, to be enlightened as to how to contribute to the development of the rural household, their own farming programs, and then the university, and then Nigeria in general. So working with the rural women in the rural household, most of the work in the rural household, especially the farm work, the activities are carried out by women. The women will follow their husband to the farm. The women will bring the food stuff back home, what they have harvested. We process it, and then you market it too. So you discover that if somebody can produce, can process, can market well, the family improved, the welfare of the family improved. There is something such people have to offer. So that actually helped in making sure that disseminating rural new ideas to rural women is not only for men, but both male and female can help in making the yield of the farm to increase. And that was actually my motivation.
Yeah, that's really
Thank you.
motivational and really deeply impactful. And I see that over 25 years now, you have supervised 85 undergraduate projects, 73 MSc theses, and you currently have 5 PhD students in progress. This is really, really, really motivational. But you have said it on the part of, women more. I want to know what continues to motivate you as both a scholar and head of the department.
Well, thank you very much. Of course, like I said, where we are, as a scholar, I have moved to in different directions, especially as an agri extensionist. Going outside the country to many countries, see how they practice agricultural extension. I interacted with scientists all over the world, and I found out that we have a lot of things to offer. What is extension? Agricultural extension is an out of school, voluntary, informal educational process aimed at improving the standard of living of the rural populace. That is the goal of extension. And so as an extension is mixing with people from different parts of the world, I know that as a gender specialist, I will need to offer a lot. And so how do I impact my department? Not only my department, even my faculty. So when I was elected as a dean of the faculty, we had to make sure that all the goals that we have to increase the food security in Nigeria was put in place, encouraging all the department to focus on different areas, bringing them together and networking with other departments to ensure that we move the department, the faculty forward, of course moving the department forward. We had an outreach station where all our practical year students would go to from all the departments, including agri extension. Of course, agri extension is not only for agri extension department. We also work with other departments. Without, agricultural extension, even as a HOD, if I don't interact with people in animal science, there's no way we can impact farmers on new findings by the animal scientists. If I don't move with, the crop scientists, those in the crops, there's no way we can impact on new ideas, new ways of farming, new methods of farming to ensure and enhance food security. So as extension agent and as head of department, I've been trying to, navigate this to ensure that we bring food to the table of not only the state, but even the country and across the continent. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much, Ma, for that extensive submission. It was really, really insightful, helping to understand, your mission as the, HOD, what continues to drive you, and also the
Yeah.
impact of extension and understanding what extension is and also how it connects to other disciplines. So, in the lead up to today's conversation, we were talking about digital extension, right? And for our listeners, I would like you to please
Yes.
explain what digital extension means today and how it is transforming the way farmers are receiving information and supporting and support in Nigeria. Because a lot of people still think about extension in this traditional sense. They do not have the understanding that extension is changing and incorporating technology now and performing better and is becoming more responsive.
you very much. This is like you said, this data extension is very essential for improving productivity, resilience, and farmers' livelihood, especially in countries like Nigeria, where many farmers lack timely access to information and services. And so this digital extension has to do with the use of technologies to be able to bridge the information. Some cannot reach all the farmers due to limited personnel that we have and logistics. So digital tools such as the use of mobile phones, apps, and SMS platforms will help to deliver real-time information on, for instance, weather, pest and disease control, then best farming practices. All of this will ensure that farmers make use of informed decisions at the right time. So without digital extension, it may be difficult for us to be able to have maximum productivity and to security, not only in Nigeria, across the continent. So if you permit me to go ahead, digital extension will also help to improve agri productivity, because it enables farmers to access modern techniques and innovations, maybe through videos, through voice messages, and other online training. Farmers can learn improved planting methods. They can have access, better access to seed varieties. They can also optimize fertilizer use. So all of this will lead to higher yields and then better produce. Moreover, digital extension will help to enhance market access. Many farmers struggle with their, finance or maybe fair prices. But on the digital extension platform, we can connect farmers directly to the market. We can provide price information. We can reduce exploitation by middlemen. So it helps to improve income and reduce post-harvest losses. What about cost effectiveness? Digital extension helps to make cost effective and scalable. The role of digital extension in Nigeria and then across the continent cannot be overemphasized. If we look at the support for climate smart agriculture, with increasing climate change that we have now, we have challenges. Farmers need timely advice. The digital extension provides early warnings on weather changes. It also helps, in climate change or smart farming techniques, and then risk management too, strategies. Through that, you can also get from the use of digital extension. So all of these technologies will help to also promote financial inclusion, like mobile banking, credit facilities, insurance services. All of this empower farmers financially and encourages investment in agriculture. What about the youth? For example, now we also have a course in our department with the youth. It helps us with the youth engagement in agriculture. There are a lot of youths. You can easily work on technologies, mobile phones. So the digital tools make more effective, especially or more attractive to the young people. Like we are in university, you introduce them to technology-driven farming, which they love, helps to create opportunities too in agri-tech, which they enjoy, even as we interact with them in the university, in the Faculty of Agric and in the Department of Agric Extension. It also helps innovation and entrepreneurship, which they really buy, and we are happy, even as researchers and as teachers, to be involved in such with our students, because it is very powerful. It's a powerful tool for transforming agriculture. Digital extension. It enhances knowledge. In summary, it enhances knowledge dissemination. It increases productivity. It improves market access, like I said. I'm saying that in summary. And it builds resilience against climate challenges. So for sustainable agri development with the government, for private sectors, and then stakeholders, there is a need to invest in digital extension systems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. That was very, very, very elaborate. It's more like I'm in a lecture room now and I'm receiving a very high level lecture. And I'm sure that the audience listening to us, they would find this very, very insightful and beneficial. Having a solid understanding of what digital extension is and the role it is playing, to facilitate information, to
Yeah.
deepen and to include, people that are being left out of accessing information input, and also in, helping them to access markets so that it can reduce post-harvest losses and also enable, their earning of higher income and improve their livelihood as well, and with the impact extending to women. Now, I want to ask for um, rural communities, because we have many rural communities that still face poor internet and low digital literacy. So I want to ask that, what do you think are the practical strategies that you recommend that could make digital extension truly inclusive, and especially for smallholder farmers and women? I'm talking about, unrolling the stumbling block for them to accessing digital extension here.
Yeah, thank you very much. This question has come up many times, even when I go to media houses and they ask, you see, if the government buys into this solar system, that most of these NGOs, they help to put it up in many rural areas, and then we use it. And there's some information you can get. Yeah, like for instance, let me give an example of what happens in the university. For instance, if you want to go to the field to get information from the farmers, there are different tools now we use. Not necessarily, you have to get generator and all of that. We use solar panels that you build on most of the houses around, and then even where the farmers are, you can easily receive information. And there are some tools that you can use without really getting there, and you don't really need like the data for you to load your phone for you to get in there. They are answering the questions and you are not there physically, but you can receive what they are saying, and the thing is loading right into your system and answering the questions. You can get the latitude of the place. You can get the picture of where you are asking questions from. So if the government will buy into the use of this, it can help maybe by maybe installing some solar panels in some places. Another way by which you can go through that is, if you have farmers cooperatives, they come together so that they are getting these things might not really be through one person's effort. It can be the contributions of all the farmers. And when you want to work with the farmers and you want results, if you use cooperatives, they network together. For instance, you have Cassava Association of Nigeria, Oil Palm Association, and all of that. When they put what they have together, they are able to install all of these little things that will not really cost much. The government too can help, maybe to the local government levels, maybe making sure that all of these like panels and all of that can easily reach to them. Supply of phones, it could also help, because we have some NGOs that actually distribute all of this to them. But if we put in the solar panel in some of the streets, or where they can easily get electricity when there is no light, I think it will help. Networking will help. Government can help. NGOs can also help to fund little things. Giving them small loans could also help. This loan may not be in cash, it may be in kind, so that if you give them cash, so that they will not misappropriate the money, we can give them the real thing, like we are giving fertilizer. With the Bill and Gates Foundation, and we discovered that if the foundation discovered that if they can help to build some of these things in different local government areas, and they use some of these digital solution factories or companies, it will help to ease the rate at which they receive information. The money will not go into the hand of one person. It goes straight into the community, and then it helps out at the end of the day. Thank you.
Okay, Ma, thank you so much for that. I took quite a number of things from your submission, the importance of digital infrastructure itself, like solar and, distribution of phones, and also, helping um, ensuring that this is not only being delivered through the government, but also welcoming the collaborative approach of NGOs, and you should also have the private sector as well. And that's really great. So I'll just move on to the next question. We are in the thoughts segment now, where we are looking at the women's role and gender in agriculture. So this part really interests me because your research has consistently shown that women contribute 60 to 80% of food production in Africa, and yet significant barriers in land ownership, credit, technology, access are what they face, despite their immense contribution to food production in the nation and in the continent. So I'd like to ask you that, what do you think, or I believe that, I'd like to ask you that, what do you know are the most pressing gender gaps in Nigeria agricultural extension today, the most pressing gender gaps that we need to have a lesser focus on and address them?
Thank you very much. To first answer your question, the role of gender, because when you say gender and women, women is already part of gender. And so I can say that gender plays a crucial role, because what are the elements in gender? The elements we have in gender involve adult men, adult women, younger girls, and younger boys. Those four elements, they make up what the word gender is. So gender is not about women. It's about both male and female. So gender plays a crucial role in agriculture, and especially in developing countries where both men and women contribute significantly to food production. So their roles and responsibilities, and then access to resources often differ. So understanding these differences is also essential for improving agri productivity, and then ensuring that technological innovations benefit everyone equally. Equally. For example, gender roles in agriculture. Women are heavily involved in agric activities such as planting, weeding, harvesting, processing, like I said before, and storage of crops, marketing of farm produce, livestock care, especially small animals. So in many areas, in many rural areas, women form a large percentage of the agric labor force. And what do they contribute? They are responsible for land preparation and heavy farm work. In most parts of the east, you see a lot of women even driving their okada and all of that, going to their farm and all of that. Ownership and control. They own and control land. They make decisions on farm investments, and they market cash crops. So gender inequalities exist in Nigeria and even across the continent. So despite these major contributions, women often face challenges such as limited access to land ownership. They face a lot of challenges like limited access to farm land ownership, access to credit. Those are some of the constraints of women. And financial services too, less access to them. Low access to agric input like fertilizers, like improved seeds. They have limited participation too in decision making. And so they also have reduced access to extension services. All of these inequalities, it helps to reduce overall agri productivity. So opportunities should be given to women, to have access to these technologies so that their productivity will increase. I have mentioned the constraints, but there should be opportunities for women to have access to technology so that we will have improved in the yield of crops, and this productivity will also increase significantly. Household food security too will be enhanced, or it will be improved, and then income level definitely will rise, and decision making power will also be strengthened. So it is important for us to have gender inclusive technology so that the technology for technology to be to truly improve agriculture, it must be gender inclusive. And what technology should be affordable and accessible to women. Training programs should target both male and women, not only male alone. Digital platforms should support local languages, should promote equal access. The farm productivity will definitely begin to increase. Poverty levels will decrease, food security will improve, and the economic growth is enhanced. Subsequently, promote gender. We need to promote gender equality, and then ensure equal access to agri technologies that will lead to more productivity, sustainable and inclusive agri development in Nigeria. So, to answer your questions, if these limitations are removed and are inclusive and solutions are provided, definitely there's going to be increase in and the women gender also, they will be encouraged. But if these policies are not provided, they are not available, it will be difficult for us to be talking about productivity, especially as regards issue that has to do with women in Nigeria and in Africa in general. Thank you.
Much for that. I caught a lot from that. You explained gender. When you talk about gender, it's not just about women alone, but also male, and also distinguishing the female gender, the adult women, and also the girl child. And I was able to pick up the number of challenges that women face, and it's not just physical alone, and also social issue and some other, like power, uh, access, being able to make their own decision, and why solution to this must be holistic and all encompassing. And it does make sense to me that if women have this sort of impact on food production. And meanwhile, with how you've explained it, that their impact is not only on food production, they have impact in household, impact on the health of children, all this, but they are not being supported to be able to access the needed equipment and education and some other, enhancing input to be able to, reach their full potential. Then it means that we are shortchanging ourselves, right? So I want to believe that we have people in power that are listening to us today, and we can be having, policies, responsive policies, tailor-made policies that are addressing this issue, helping women to equitably access opportunities, resources that helps them to reach their full potential, right? So I move on to the next question. Professor, you have worked extensively on women cooperatives. You are talking about women cooperatives initially. Sweet potato processing for income generation, and also home gardening for food security. These are the things that you have worked on. I want you to just share one or two success stories from these your works. Where technology or improved digital extension helped rural women increase their income and livelihoods. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I work on cassava as a crop. When I was doing my PhD, and I worked largely on cassava and sweet potato. And why we actually wanted to, why we actually shifted a little to attention on sweet potatoes, because cassava is a major staple in Nigeria, and of course it contains carbohydrates, and we were thinking for another crop that we could actually introduce to farmers, so that at least could be beneficial. Of course, that was why, when I went to Tanzania, I tried to get some vines of sweet potato, the sweet potato that is orange flesh, the one that is orange in color. And that sweet potato that is called orange flesh sweet potato, it has a lot of advantages over even the normal sweet potato we call. It's a very hardy crop. We can plant it 3 times in the year. We can introduce it to farmers. and then it has, you only need to plant the vines, where you have the bud. So you just cut these vines and put in in cellophane paper bags, and it grows. You don't need to carry the tubers to go and plant. So it's advantageous in that way, and you can multiply this sweet potato to very many plants without carrying a lot. Then it is rich in vitamin A, and it has a lot of beta carotene, and then it is also used. It can be taken by pregnant women. It has a lot of advantages. So we can even cook it as stew. Make it like you are making a goosey soup. You can make it to chin chin, puff puff, cakes, and you can even mix it up with bread, with wheat bread, and make bread from it. So women can easily sell this. You can make it into chips, you can fry it, and very 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 rich. So I went to some communities. I was a part of a particular project, and we went to a particular rural area, and we discovered that majority of those women in the rural area, they were blind. They had night blindness. They told us about it, and the group of personnel, the medical personnel amongst us, they were trying to prescribe, okay, how is it in a particular village you have majority of the people having night blindness in that village? So they thought probably, oh, the witches in this village are very strong. So, but as an extensionist, they were trying to, maybe we said, let's take the sample of their blood and see how they're faring. And by the time they took blood sample and they went it for test, we discovered that a lot of them lack vitamin A. So instead, now they were not thinking, okay, why do we now buy a capsule, vitamin A capsule, to solve the problem of night blindness, to change the mind of these rural people? So me as an extension agent, I said, oh, I have some crops, potato crops, including Professor Koloda then in agronomy, that I took from Tanzania and Japan, and that we could multiply it and give to farmers in that particular community. Instead of us to buy vitamin A capsule that we may not be able to sustain because of the cost, let's try this sweet potato and educate our farmers, the women, on how to produce it. And so they gave it a try. So we came to UI and we took the vines from agronomy with what we had from the late Professor Akoloda. And we said in another 6 months, we will be coming there to check again to see whether this thing can control this night blindness, because we know it has a lot of vitamin A. We did that, and as agric extension from our own department, we went there to give enlightenment, organize seminars. How do you use sweet potato, the flour, how we can make it into chips, how we can blend it into flour. They made it into cakes and all of that, and they got it. They planted, they processed it, and no, and beyond, a lot of them are now selling fruit potato chin chin, fruit potato, puff puff, sweet potato, everything. They were so amazed. So in another 1 year, almost a year, we went there together again with the team that went with the medical personnel to take the blood sample of these farmers in a very close village here in Ibadan, close back. I don't want to mention the name, just for security. So by the time they took this blood sample, lo and behold, the night blinded had gone. So what happened? So the sweet potato, orange flesh sweet potato, became a magic crop. They are selling it, they were happy with it, they were selling it, and they got a lot of money from it. So to answer your question, because I have a lot of examples, let me just share that one for you to know that now it became like an alternative crop to cassava. So you don't need to do cassava. You can make cassava, sweet potato into gari. You can make cassava into lafu. You can make sweet potato into all of this the same way we do cassava, and it has a lot of medicinal purposes. So that was why until now you still see people selling orange flesh sweet potato here and there and all of that. It's very beneficial. That's just one out of many examples that I can give you. Thank you
So much for that story, like giving us background into how the sweet potato intervention actually helps to solve the vitamin A deficiency and
problem in
crisis
farmers.
in that particular community
community. Yeah.
without having to use supplements or
Yes.
elements and that. So it's
Yeah.
actually very good to hear that. So I'll move on to the last question of the third segment because we'll soon be entering into the final segment. And this particular question is focused on the University of Ibadan itself, the department. So I'd like to ask you, you were the pioneer gender focal person at the University of Ibadan and the person who led development of the university's gender and sexual harassment policies. So I'm asking that based on this work that you've done, that how can universities and departments like ours better prepare the next generation of extension workers to be gender responsive?
Thank you. I think what we can do is for us to other university, not only other university, but I think other higher institutions, there's a need for them to be gender sensitive because if you are not gender responsive, most of the opportunities that will come to such university, they will be denied that university. So every university should be they should be committed to the establishment of gender sensitive institution, and this should be reflected anywhere. So it is good to also have an affirmative action policy in such a university or in such an institution, because to strengthen itself by utilizing all available human resources for its core activities in teaching, in research, and in service, such a university must have a gender policy. In the pursuit of this one, of gender equity, is embedded within the framework of fundamental human rights. Gender policy is agenda. It talks about fundamental human rights. So I will encourage institutions to have such, to ensure that we have gender equity in representation of staff and students and all of that. So there is the need for such institution to have gender policy so that all both male and female can be encouraged to be involved, and then they will be committed to the policy of the institution. Students and performance, recruitment and equity in the representation of such university. So there should be institutional culture for such university too. Networking will be very enhanced, research and innovation will be improved, and then engineering resource mobilization and budgeting. So all of these are embedded in gender policy, and it will help in the improvement of student welfare, staff welfare, and then having a gender. We have done a lot for the University of Ibadan in that regard. We have gone to different universities to ensure that they have gender policy. Why? There are lots of advantages of having gender policy in any institution. Unfortunately, the time is not there. I would have loved to actually share more on that so that we have the gender policy that will apply to staff of the university, students of the university, or contractors, service providers. And when you have it as a policy in the university, it involves both male and female. And females can also automatically be encouraged when we invest in both genders in higher institution. So I think for now that's what I can say.
We would now begin the last section of the conversation, looking at the future vision, department, and what you have for the youth. So my first question would be to ask, many of our listeners, our students, are young graduates, and they will want advice from you, obviously. So I want to ask that, what advice would you give to young people who want to build careers in digital extension or gender focused agricultural development to make an impact in the field and contribute to the whole progress of the field?
And there are a lot of practical ways or realistic advice that I want to give to the young graduates today for them to get started and grow successfully. And the first one is to build a strong foundation in both agric and technology. Make up your mind to build a strong foundation in both agriculture and technology. Digital extension sits at the intersection, of farming and tech. So you need both. Very, very important. You need to understand core agri practices, maybe like crops, like livestock, climate, soils, and learn basic digital skills. Very important. Even in now, this is the age of AI and all of that. So there is a need to build all of this, learn basic digital skills such as data collection tools, mobile surveys, social media for outreaches. You need to build that, and then simple data analysis using all of these digital tools. I also encourage all our youth to learn digital tools that we use in agriculture, especially those that, even those not in agriculture. Everything is cutting across now. Focus on tools that are already transforming extension services. There are many tools now transforming extension services, like mobile advisory platforms, like SMS, SMS based farming tips. They need to know that GIS, even those in geography, you need to be familiar with GIS and mapping tools to map out where you want to work, to map out how it can help you, to map out the good soil and all of that. We also to be familiar with farm management apps. There are many apps that are used now. The time is not just there for me to be able to explain more of it. So the young farm management tools, they need to be familiar with WhatsApp, Telegram for farm engagement or farmers engagement. You don't need to be a graduate alone to learn it. We all need to be familiar for farming engagement. And then they need to be also familiar with content creation media. Even as I'm talking to you now, notes in local languages. As I'm talking to you, we can use this mode to talk to some farmers in their various places. They'll be hearing me, and they'll be hearing the message, and they make use of the message. So the more practical your skills, the more valuable you become. So as a young person, you need to be practical in your approach, and you need to be able to use all of this, the development of the career that you have already chosen. Then there's a need to develop communication skills. I want to thank the person that is interviewing me for good communication, and I enjoy it the way you are communicating. So the young man needs to develop good communication skills. Digital extension is not just about technology, it's about communicating with the farmers effectively. If you don't have effective communication, no matter how good you are in the use of the tools, it will be useless. So by doing that, they learn to simplify complex ideas to the farmers to enjoy. They use local languages where possible. Use communication skills to practice creating short, clear messages. And then you now build confidence in public speaking and training, just like my interviewer this afternoon. So I want to encourage the young minds too, or the young theory, what to read and read and read. Volunteer with agri programs or with NGOs. Intern with extension agencies or agri-tech startups. Visit farms and interact directly so that you have exposure. All of this help to understand real farmer problems, not just textbook knowledge. You need to be familiar. We need to focus on also problem solving, not just the tools. Technology is only useful if it solves real problems. Do you agree with me? So you will ask yourself, what challenges do farmers face in my area? How can digital tools solve them? Is the solution affordable and accessible? This mindset will definitely set you apart from others. I hope the young ones are listening to me. Build digital presence and portfolio. I can tell you, my interviewer, that you have built it, and I like the way it's showing up. Show what you can do. Share agri tips on social media. Create short educational videos. Write blog posts or maybe simple guides. Document your field experiences, put them on the internet. This will attract employers, it will attract NGOs, it will attract partners, and they begin to look for you. Network with stakeholders, key stakeholders. If you just do it at your room and you don't build a network, it will be difficult. So you connect with extension officers, connect with agri-tech companies, connect with NGOs in agriculture, connect with government agri programs so that you make yourself visible. Attend workshops, seminars, webinars, training. Opportunities often will come through all of these connections. So you can build your career through many sources. Stay updated on new tools that can be used and new trend that you are following in agriculture. Learn from all of these global best practices so that you will not be a local champion. And then begin to consider entrepreneurship too. Don't wait only for a job. You can be a job employer. You can employ people. Start digital advisory platform. A small agri-tech solution. People will look for you, as a young person. Start small and grow gradually. I think that's all I want to say. Be patient and be purpose-driven. If you don't have a purpose in life, you're not going to make it in life. Most young people want to just achieve within, we are talking about the millennial age, all of this Gen Z and all of that. Be patient and be purpose driven. Impact in agriculture, it takes time if you want to impact on agriculture. So focus on helping farmers genuinely, be consistent. Even when growth is slow, just be consistent. And then measure your success by impact, not just income. Most businesses may not start with big income, but when you start small and measure the success by the impact you are making and focus on solving real problems, you can build a meaningful and successful career in your field if only you are committed to it. If you keep learning and then you focus on solving real problems, and you see that you are building already, and the next generation, you can smile and say, yes, we have achieved, even as elders. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think this particular part of this section, it needs to stand alone. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create it separately so that people, the students, the listeners can have a clear
Yeah.
understanding of this. That particular part, if people listen to it, I'm very, very sure that it's going to help them to power their career. It's going to reshape their mindset and help them achieve the impact that they want to achieve, right?
Yeah.
So I know that you're a very busy person, Prof. And I do not want to take much of your time. So it's just three questions left. So the three questions are very brief. I'll give you insight into the question. One is going to be on policy. The other is going to be on the final message that you have for our listeners, and the third one, not in subsequent order. The third one is going to be about, when we are having discussion, you wanted this to be a recurring podcast series and that we can have a documentary as well and also seminar. So I'll go on with the first question. You have expressed strong interest in in a recurring podcast series and also a documentary about the department, right? So I'd like to ask you that what would you like the series to achieve for the Department of Agricultural Extension and Rural Development, the Faculty of Agriculture and the university as a whole?
What I would like this program there to know the in studying the culture, and then particularly the Department of Agriculture Extension and Rural Development. When we have this regular broadcast, it will help people out there, those in schools, those that are even working, that want to be part of us, to let them have the knowledge of what Agriculture Extension stands for and what other departments are there in the Faculty of Agriculture. What are the benefits, that they can get from coming to study in the University of Ibadan? What are the benefits of studying as an agric officer or as an agric graduate? We will be visible. People who don't know our activities will know. And so I really want us to involve more lecturers in the department, even more lecturers in the university. This may make those that are outside there that may not understand fully what agriculture starts to. I know of universities and they don't have the faculty of agriculture at all, and they are eating. It's not right. That's the role of agric cannot be overemphasized in the scheme of things in any country, even in the policy. That's what needed to be included in the policy. And the issue of digital extension should be part of what we have in agric extension. We are not only talking about how to educate our farmers, how to take new ideas to them, but we are interested in making sure that digital digital tools are needed for us to make extension to make even productivity to increase, and to make extension to be visible in the scheme of things, of agriculture in Nigeria. So I really want to thank you. Digitalization of agric extension should be part of the policy. I don't know, you have not asked me that question, but I think it should be part of our agric extension policy, so that they see the need, they see the importance, they see how it will help even the rural areas, or the rural farmers, or the farm families that don't even know anything about, that are not even educated. Digital tools can help to enlighten them, and that's why I will want this particular episode to continue to be recurring, involve more lecturers in the department, involve more lecturers in the university, involve more lecturers in the faculty of agriculture. And I know the vice chancellor will be very happy, because that's one of those things that he desires also, which we are trying to put in place. Thank you.
That's really, really, really um, uh, what I would like it to be. To make the whole department, the faculty, the uh, university itself visible to people, knowing what the university is doing, the department, the faculty, and also for other universities as well to replicate the same. So I'll ask the penultimate, second to the last question, and this is regarding your vision for agricultural extension, and also your vision for the department. So looking ahead, I'd like to ask you that what is your vision for agricultural extension in Nigeria by 2035, especially regarding technology and women's empowerment? And what do you hope that the Department of Agricultural Extension at the University of Ibadan would add to this?
Graduates that will subsequently go out and provide food for the country, and to represent the country well across the continent, and to bring in more students of agric extension, um, students in by the time they will be able to go out more farmers or new ideas, new innovations, and so will enhance productivity not only in Nigeria, even across the continent. So I also desire that we have more graduates that are well equipped, just as we have now, to be able to supply needed experience, needed exposure, needed quality that we need in the agric sector, in all our agric organizations and all of that. Once they are provided, problems of Nigeria will be reduced. The food insecurity will also be reduced when we have well-trained graduates from the University of Ibadan, from the Department of Agric Extension and Rural Development. They go out there training the trainers, training more people, and encouraging more young people to come into agriculture. So that's my desire. And my desire is also to encourage the woman gender to also be forthcoming, giving them duties, or giving them roles that will also promote agriculture and will enhance productivity in Nigeria, so that they can stand out, they can speak up, they can be anywhere, and then whatever training we've given them from the University of Ibadan, they can stand in the gap to promulgate it to other people in other countries and even in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was really, really ambitious. And I hope that this whole vision will become manifested come 2035. We have come to the end of the conversation, and I must say that it's been a very enlightening discourse with you, Ma. So like I will always do, I'll just run up a quick summary of the discussion so far that we've had. The discussion that we intended to have today was, transforming Nigerian agriculture with women empowerment and incorporation of digital extension, right? That technology, improved technology is making possible nowadays. So here is the argument that, you know, bulk of our producers, food producers, are small farmers that are inhabiting rural regions. So basically, rural inhabitants. But the problem now is that also bulk of these producers are women. So they are basically the backbone of agriculture itself and engage in different activities across the agricultural value chain. But the problem is that despite the contribution of these women, they have a lot of barriers and a lot of things that they can't access that is um, reducing their productivity, production, contribution, and impact. And Professor uh, Odebode has been able to enlighten us on the various things that can do that. Access to input information, access to market information, access to market itself, the financial means, and also being able to make their own decision, participation in decision making, both in household, farming system, and in the society at large, right? So, Professor Odebode made us understand that the impact of them not having access to the required enhancing input is not only limited to food production itself, pushing food insecurity, but also health challenges for children, increased mortalities, and also that there is reduced income for people dependent on the farming system and all that. So these are the things that we are facing, and she has been able to um, tell us some strategies that we should do, incorporate to actually help improve this. We should deepen infrastructure like solar, as she has said, internet connectivity, right? And also, enhance, promote financial inclusion, promote information access and all that, and also incorporate, the participation of NGOs and also, private sector, and also improving digital, literacy. And she spoke on how our students can be a part of this, have career. And she really did an extensive answer to a question that was asked on that they should broaden their mind, do it different, be very innovative, incorporate technology, social media, digital media, and all that, right? And following that, she told us what she wants as the ambition for the digital extension and for women incorporation in agricultural extension come 2035. And she also made us aware what she would want, the docu series that we'll be having with the Department of Agricultural Extension, to portray what the department, the faculty, and the university is doing, and for other universities to incorporate that, to promote learning, education, and all that. So I hope I've been able to make a good summary of what we have discussed today. So here I am. I want to deeply appreciate Professor Odebode for being here with us today, being the head of the department. I'm sure that she has a whole lot of activities that she's overseeing, and she just has to be here, right, to enlighten us, just like what she is very, very passionate about, deep impact in the agricultural space, agricultural extension, and also women increase and improve involvement in the space as well. So I'm very, very happy that she has passed good recommendation about my communication skills and about what I'm doing today. So it really empowers me and motivates me to do more. So I want to say thank you, Ma, for the good remarks that you have given me, and I really appreciate that. So we look forward to engaging with the docu series and also the seminar soon. And I've come to the conclusion now, to the end. So if you have any other thing to say, you can just say it. Then I will end the podcast.
Yes. I thank you so much for the good job you are doing, all the questions, and I really want to wish you well. This Lasgidi Farmer Podcast is a very good one, an innovative initiative,
Thank
and
you,
I
Ma,
want it to
for
continue, especially at this time. You
the
have
good
been able to
remarks that you have
communicate well.
given me, and I really
So,
appreciate.
and I'm encouraged because even as a young person, you have spoken so well, and I am grateful to you. And I wish your organization well in your future endeavor. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma, for that. And just to a quick reminder to everyone listening to us that this was brought to you by the Lasgidi Farmer Podcast, and we usually do this kind of conversation episode, from time to time. Endeavor to subscribe to our podcast. We are just building this particular video segment, right? So you can follow us to help increase our reach, and also you can follow us on Spotify as well at the Lasgidi Farmer Podcast. So this particular episode will be available soon, where we do the whole processing and all that. You have access to the full conversation, irrespective of whether you are available or not, or whether you are available and miss some parts. You'll be able to have access to the full conversation and listening to every words of wisdom, the gems that Professor Odebode gave today. So just one thing, I would like you to tell the world that they should listen to, subscribe to, and support the Lasgidi Farmer podcast, and join us.
Yeah, thank you very much, my interviewer. I want to say that I'm so proud of this Lasgidi Farmer Podcast because it's a medium to pass information to the young ones. It's a medium to learn a lot. In fact, the broadcaster is a medium to also learn from him. He communicated well, and because of his communication, I was flow, and then the setup, it's enlightening. And this initiative, I think, should be continued, and I want to encourage this unit to continue this way because I know a lot of future generations will be built through the enlightenment program that is being provided on this platform. And so I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank the listeners too for listening. And I want you to keep listening to this. Even if you are not there, you can go back to it and put it on. You will be sure that they give you good enlightenment and good information that you need for your future, for your career to be built in the future. Thank you so much for this opportunity too. I am grateful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma, for that. I'm really happy. Do listen to the Last Gidi Farmer podcast. To inform you, next week will be, this week on Saturday by 4 p.m. We'll be having conversation on, agri-tech in fish farming, a repeated conversation actually. And next week I think on the 25th of April as well by 4 p.m. We'll be having conversation of post-harvest losses with Echo Tutu, a leading solar powered cool storage organization in
Thank you.
Nigeria. So I proceed to ending today's conversation. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast, Professor Odebode. Do have a lovely day.
Thank you. Have a good bye.